Hi guys, this is Mrs. Cornett, and I am going to work through some problems from section 7.5. This is solving rational equations. Okay, so let's talk about rational equations. Rational is referring to fractions, that these are equations that will have fractions. Sometimes you'll have only one fraction, sometimes two, sometimes all three parts will be fractions. It's possible to solve these equations by keeping the fractions and finding common denominators and then working it out. But I want to show you a method where you can actually clear out the fractions and then solve the equation that just contains whole numbers. It's a whole lot easier. And so let me just show you some examples. Number one is z over 3 minus 2z over 8 equals 1. The first thing you need to do when you're solving these rational equations is to figure out what a common denominator would be, or you could use the phrase least common multiple. The denominators in this problem are 3 and 8. The whole number 1 has a denominator of 1, but we can just focus on the denominators 3 and 8. 24 is the least common multiple, and so what I want you to do is we're going to multiply each part of the equation by 24. The reason we can do that is because we're not leaving any part of the equation out. Every part is being multiplied by 24, and so it's still the same equation, it just looks different. So now we have 24z over 3 minus 48z over 8 equals, and then 1 times 24 is 24. Now let's simplify these fractions. 24 and 3 simplify to 8 and 1. 48 and 6 simplifies to 6 and 1. And so here I'm going to rewrite the equation with whole numbers. 8z minus 6z equals 24. 8z minus 6z is 2z. And when you divide both sides by 2, z equals 12. Number 2 is 3 plus y over 5 equals y over 2. The common denominator is 10, so I'm going to multiply all the parts by 10. 30 plus 10y over 5 equals 10y over 2. Now let's simplify these fractions. 10 and 5 simplify to 2 and 1. 10 and 2 simplify to 5 and 1. So now the equation is 30 plus 2y equals 5y. Let's subtract the 2y. This is 30 equals 3y, and divide both sides by 3 to get an answer of y equals 10. Number 5 is 5x over 7 minus 2x over 3 equals 1/2. So now we're looking for a common denominator of 7, 3, and 2. And the common denominator is 42. So we're going to multiply 42 to each part. And I want you to notice that I'm only multiplying to the numerator because there's a 1 in the denominator, right? And so it's really multiplying 42 over 1 and then multiplying the numerators together and multiplying the denominators. But since there's the 1 in the denominator of 42, it's really just not necessary to even put a denominator. That's why I'm just writing 42 in the numerator. So now let me show you a shortcut. Previous two problems, we have multiplied the common denominator to the numerator and then simplified. But now that the common denominator is getting bigger, look at that first fraction. 42 times 5x, and then we'd have to go back and simplify by 7. And so I want to show you this shortcut that before you multiply 42 times 5, you can go ahead and simplify 42 and 7 to be 6 and 1. So look at the second fraction. We can simplify 42 and 3 to 14 and 1, and then 42 and 2 to 21 and 1. And so here's what we have left over. We have 6 times 5x, which is 30x, 14 times 2x, which is a minus 28x, and then 21 times 1, which equals 21. 30x minus 28x is 2x, equals 21. Divide 2 to both sides to get 21 halves. You can leave it as an improper fraction. You do not need to change it to a mixed number or a decimal. Number 7 is a plus 3 over 4 minus a minus 1 over 6 equals 4/3. This is the first time that we've had binomials in the numerator. The first thing when you're solving these equations is to find a common denominator between 4, 6, and 3. The least common denominator is 12, and so we'll multiply each numerator by 12. And I want to show you the same thing that we did on the previous problem. Before you distribute 12 into that binomial, I want you to go ahead and simplify 12 with the denominator. So for example, 12 and 4 simplify to 3 and 1. 12 and 6 simplify to 2 and 1. And then 12 and 3 simplify to 4 and 1. So now we're left with 3 times a plus 3 minus 2 times a minus 1 equals 4 times 4 is 16. Now use the distributive property to get 3a plus 9 minus 2a, and be careful here, this is a minus 2 times negative 1, which is positive 2, equals 16. Collecting like terms, it's a plus 11 equals 16. Subtract 11 from both sides to get a final answer of a equals 5. Number 8 is u minus 5 over 10 plus u plus 8 over 15 equals 7/10. We have the denominator 10, 15, and 10. The least common denominator is 30, so we'll multiply each numerator by 30. And I want to show you the same thing. Before you multiply 30 to that binomial, I want you to first simplify the 30 with the denominators. So 30 and 10 simplify to 3 and 1. 30 and 15 simplify to 2 and 1. And 30 and 10 simplify to 3 and 1. Now that the denominators are all 1, you don't even need to have a denominator. And so now the problem looks like 3 times u minus 5 plus 2 times u plus 8 equals 21. Using the distributive property to get 3u minus 15 plus 2u plus 16 equals 21. Collecting like terms to get 5u plus 1 equals 21. And now solve for u. We're going to subtract 1 from both sides. 5u equals 20. Divide both sides by 5, and u equals 4. Let me show you one more on this video. Number 10 is y plus 6 over 5 plus 3y minus 2 over 20 equals 3/4. The common denominator of 5, 20, and 4 is 20. So I want you to multiply 20 to each term. Before you distribute the 20 into that binomial, I want you to first simplify with the denominator. So this first one, 20 and 5, simplify to 4 and 1. The next fraction, 20 and 20, simplify to 1 and 1. And then 20 and 4 simplify to 5 and 1. Now we have the equation 4 times y plus 6 plus 3y minus 2 equals 15. Using the distributive property, we get 4y plus 24 plus 3y minus 2 equals 15. Now collect like terms to get 7y plus 22 equals 15. Subtract 22 from both sides. 7y equals negative 7. Divide both sides by 7 to get a final answer of y equals negative 1. Okay, that's all I'm going to do for this video. Please let me know if you have any questions.